Have you ever walked into a room and felt the energy shift without saying a word? Eyes glance your way. Conversations pause. A strange tension hangs in the air. You didn't do anything, yet something about your presence changes everything. And maybe, just maybe, you've spent your whole life thinking it's because something is wrong with you. You were told you're too intense, too serious, too much. But what if this intensity wasn't a flaw, but a sign of something rare? According to Carl Jung, your aura, your invisible emotional signature, isn't just mystical fluff. It's a real psychological field of energy shaped by your inner integration, the union of your light and your shadow. And if you've done any kind of self-work, especially shadow work, your energy becomes unmistakably different. Not louder, not more dramatic, just deeper, more real. And that's exactly what unsettles people. You're no longer living on the surface, like most. You don't pretend well. You don't flatter easily. You've stopped playing social games. Your energy exposes illusions without even trying. It reflects what others don't want to see in themselves. This isn't arrogance, it's clarity. You've done the work. You've peeled back the layers. And in doing so, your very presence becomes like a mirror, a psychological one. People don't recoil from you. They recoil from what they see in themselves when they're around you. That's the paradox of rare energy. It attracts and repels at the same time. Jung believed that every human being carries a shadow, the disowned, denied, or repressed aspects of the self. When you integrate your shadow, your aura becomes psychologically coherent. You're not hiding anything. And in a world addicted to hiding, that's revolutionary. But here's the catch. When your aura becomes whole, it disrupts the balance in every room you enter. People can't project their own issues onto you as easily. You no longer fit the mold they're used to controlling or ignoring. Your wholeness demands presence. And for many, that's terrifying. You may notice this through people avoiding eye contact with you, conversations drying up when you speak honestly, strangers opening up to you deeply and suddenly, authority figures feeling threatened for no clear reason sound familiar. This is not about charisma. This is not about being the loudest person in the room. It's about depth. It's about a kind of energetic transparency that says, I see you, even if you don't want to be seen. And what happens when someone feels seen, truly seen, but hasn't yet seen themselves? They panic. Sometimes they lash out. Sometimes they label you. Sometimes they walk away. And you're left wondering, did I say something wrong? Was I too honest? Should I have been smaller? No, you weren't wrong. You were real. Here's a truth you may need to hear today. Your aura is not a threat. It's a reflection. It only feels threatening to those who are still hiding from themselves. And the more you continue to integrate your truth, your fear, your grief, your rage, your tenderness, the more your energy becomes undeniable. Jung once wrote, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. But he never said the world would be ready for you when you do. So what should you do? You don't shrink. You don't fight. You stand quietly, firmly, authentically. Your job is not to be understood. Your job is to understand yourself so fully that you can hold your ground even when others don't know what to do with you. And ironically, the more you embody that rare energy, the more people begin to change around you. Not because you told them to, but because your presence gave them permission to finally meet themselves. Let's pause here. Have you ever noticed how people either open up to you deeply or completely avoid you? Have you experienced being labeled too much or too intense just for being honest? If so, comment below. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. Let's build a space where being whole isn't punished, it's celebrated. And in the next section, we'll explore the 13 signs that your aura carries rare energy, and how to use that awareness not as a burden, but as a superpower. So how do you know if you carry this rare, unsettling energy? You won't always hear it in words. You'll feel it in people's reactions, their silence, their confusion. It's not something you can fake or force. It's the result of deep internal work. And when you carry it, the world responds, often in strange ways. Here are 13 signs your aura holds a rare frequency, one that's felt before it's understood. 1. People confess things to you they've never told anyone. You might just be walking through life when suddenly someone says, "I don't know why I'm telling you this." That's not random. It's energetic safety. Your presence feels non-judgmental, and people feel safe enough to reveal their truth. 2. Others feel intimidated even when you're being kind. You say hello gently, but they stiffen. You give honest feedback, and they take it personally. It's not because you're harsh. It's because your clarity pierces their masks. 3. You struggle with small talk. Shallow conversations drain you. You crave meaning, honesty, depth. This isn't snobbery. It's alignment. You've outgrown surface-level noise. 4. You're often misunderstood. Your words carry layers. Your silence speaks volumes. But people used to performance culture may misread your calm as coldness, your confidence as arrogance. It's not your job to fix their perception. 5. You're a mirror. People project onto you both their admiration and their fears. One moment they idealize you, the next they resent you. It's not about you. It's about what they see in themselves through you. 6. You attract emotional extremes. People either adore you or avoid you. You spark deep responses, not lukewarm ones. That's what resonance does. It shakes what's ready to be seen. 7. You make others question themselves. Without trying, your energy disrupts illusions. In your presence, others often reflect on their choices, their identity, their path. Some thank you, others resent you. Both are signs you're doing something real. 8. You're drawn to solitude. It's not that you don't like people. It's that your nervous system needs rest after intense energetic exchanges. Solitude becomes a sacred space for recalibration. 9. Animals and children gravitate toward you. They don't care about your resume or your past. They feel your energy. And if your aura is honest and open, they come closer without fear. 10. People tell you you're different, not in a patronizing way, in a puzzled, curious, sometimes envious way. They can't explain it, but they know. You don't move like the rest. 11. You're comfortable with silence. While others fill every pause with noise, you let the quiet speak. Silence doesn't scare you. It grounds you. That alone changes a room. 12. You don't chase approval. You've stopped contorting yourself to be liked. And ironically, that self-containment makes you magnetic. People want to be around someone who doesn't need them. 13. You trigger transformation in others. Without preaching, fixing, or proving anything, your very being shifts dynamics. Some people grow after meeting you. Others retreat. Both are part of your medicine. Sound familiar? If you're nodding along, here's what I want you to remember. This is not a curse. It's a calling. You were not meant to blend in. You were meant to awaken. You carry a different frequency because you've done different work. And while that may isolate you at times, it also positions you to lead, not by control, but by presence. Jung once said, "The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. You, my friend, are a catalyst. Not everyone will stay in your orbit, but those who do, those who can handle your frequency, will transform simply by being in your presence." Let me ask you, which of these signs have you experienced most often? Has your energy ever scared someone without you doing anything at all? Drop a comment below and let's decode the language of energy together. In the next part, we'll go deeper. We'll explore why your rare aura often attracts narcissists, manipulators, and emotionally unavailable people, and how to stop mistaking energetic magnetism for spiritual alignment. You've probably asked yourself this question more than once. Why do I keep attracting people who drain me? You're kind, empathic, intuitive. You don't play games. And yet, again and again, you find yourself entangled with narcissists, manipulators, or emotionally absent people. Not because you're broken, not because you're naive, but because your aura carries a rare light, and light attracts shadows. Let's break it down through the lens of Carl Jung, Jung's shadow theory. According to Jung, the shadow is the unconscious side of the psyche, the repressed desires, wounds, and insecurities we don't want to face. When someone hasn't integrated their shadow, they unconsciously look for others to carry it for them. And people with powerful, rare auras, like you, become ideal containers. Why? Because your energy feels safe, accepting, unthreatening. You make others feel seen without them having to look in the mirror. Until, of course, your very presence becomes the mirror. That's when the trouble begins. Why narcissists are drawn to you. Narcissists crave attention. But more than that, they crave reflection. They seek people who will validate their illusion, who will supply endless admiration. At first, you might seem like their dream. Intuitive, giving, deep. But here's what they don't expect. You see through them. You notice the contradictions. You ask the uncomfortable questions. And that's when the dynamic shifts. You stop feeding their ego. You start reflecting their shadow. And because they can't face that truth, they turn on you. Why manipulators target you? Manipulators are skilled at reading people. They know how to detect compassion and bend it. They love people who hesitate to say no, who second-guess themselves, who lead with heart. Your empathy, in their eyes, becomes opportunity. They test your boundaries. Slowly, subtly. They wrap guilt in compliments. They weaponize your kindness. And the worst part, you blame yourself for not seeing it sooner. But here's the truth. They didn't choose you because you're weak. They chose you because your strength feels soft. Because your depth feels like home. And because they can't build that in themselves. Why emotionally unavailable people seek you out? When someone can't meet themselves emotionally, they look for someone who can do it for them. You become the therapist, the rescuer, the emotional anchor. But here's the twist. They crave your warmth, but reject your intimacy. They want your light, but not your truth. They stay just close enough to feel safe, yet far enough to avoid vulnerability. And you try harder. You overgive. You shrink your needs to maintain connection. Until one day, you're empty. And you realize this isn't love. This is self-erasure. Here's what you must understand. You are not being punished for your goodness. You are being called to refine your discernment. Your aura is powerful. But if it's not protected, it becomes a beacon for the wrong energies. Just like a lamp attracts both seekers and moths, your light draws in both those who want to grow and those who want to feed. Jung said, the brighter the light, the darker the shadow. So the question becomes, can you hold your light without dimming it for others' comfort? Can you stop rescuing people who refuse to swim? Can you stop confusing familiarity with alignment? The shift, you don't need to change your light. You need to honor its value. That means trusting your gut over someone's words. Watching for patterns, not just apologies. Setting boundaries before you're drained. Saying no without guilt. Choosing mutual energy exchange, not emotional labor dressed as love. Your rare aura is sacred. Not everyone deserves access. You are not here to be someone's emotional crutch. You are here to awaken others, but not at the cost of your own wholeness. In the next section, we'll explore the most powerful shift of all. How to turn your rare energy into a boundary-rich, magnetic presence that attracts only what aligns with your purpose. But before we move on, have you ever felt like your empathy was being weaponized against you? Have you experienced these patterns with certain types of people? Drop a comment. Your experience might be the mirror someone else needs. And remember, awareness is the beginning of power. You've done the inner work. You've seen the patterns. You've realized that not everyone who reaches for your light deserves to hold it. But now comes the hardest part, choosing to live from your truth, not from your trauma. Most of us were conditioned to believe that being good meant being agreeable, likable, self-sacrificing. But in Jungian psychology, true goodness is not passivity. It is power anchored in consciousness. So the question is, are you ready to stop performing and start living as who you truly are? From persona to presence, Carl Jung coined the term persona to describe the mask we wear in society. The version of ourselves built to meet expectations, avoid rejection, and gain approval. It's the smile that hides the fatigue, the yes that should have been a no, the charm that conceals the grief. But the persona, no matter how polished, eventually becomes a prison. And the more rare your energy is, the more suffocating that mask becomes. You don't need to wear a mask. You need to own your presence. That means saying no without needing a reason. Speaking your boundaries without apology. letting people misunderstand you without rushing to explain walking away when your soul says, "This isn't home." Because here's the truth most people avoid. Not everyone is meant to go with you. Integration versus suppression. You've likely been taught to stay positive, forgive quickly, or let it go. But emotional maturity isn't about suppression. It's about integration. When you suppress anger, it becomes bitterness. When you suppress grief, it becomes numbness. When you suppress truth, it becomes self-abandonment. Jung said, "One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." Your task is not to avoid pain. Your task is to mine the wisdom inside the pain, to ask, what part of me have I disowned to keep others comfortable? And then to welcome that part back, fully. That's how your light becomes whole. Creating a new field of attraction. Once you've integrated your shadow and shed the mask, something magical happens. You stop attracting chaos. You no longer draw in relationships that mirror your wounds. You attract connections that mirror your wholeness. Because now, you're no longer vibrating from need, but from knowing. From will they like me? To do they honor who I am? From I'll fix them. To I choose mutual healing or nothing at all. From I hope they stay. To I trust what leaves was never mine. This is the moment your aura becomes sovereign. Not flashy, not cold, just rooted in truth. And truth is magnetic. Becoming the mirror, not the reaction. By now, you've probably noticed a beautiful shift. You no longer react the same way. When someone disrespects you, you no longer explode or shut down. You observe, you choose, you respond, or walk away entirely. Why? Because you've stopped needing to be understood to feel worthy. You've stopped needing to win arguments to feel powerful. You've become what Jung called individuated. A self not fragmented by others' projections, but whole in itself. And here's the irony. The more whole you become, the more others feel exposed around you. Because your silence reflects what they refuse to face. Your clarity cuts through their confusion. Your peace threatens their chaos. But you don't need to prove anything anymore. Final realization. You were the home. All along, every person who walked away, every relationship that collapsed, every moment that broke you, wasn't rejection. It was redirection. Back to yourself. Back to the home you tried to build in others. Back to the voice you were trained to silence. This isn't a story of becoming someone new. It's a story of returning to someone ancient, someone true. And that's the rarest power of all. You no longer seek to be chosen. You realize you've already chosen yourself. You no longer chase the one. You become the one. You no longer fear being misunderstood. You stand so rooted in your truth that understanding becomes optional. This is your evolution. This is your arrival.